We're about to start class, Astaire.
Feels like this coming of age story following this young dancer who feels like an outcast and often has these awkward moments. And we see him experiencing finding love. In a way, he wants his life to be a movie because he thinks his life is a movie. It's simpler. He fantasizes is often throughout this, and his fantasies play out like movie scenes. These big movie scenes that you see in movies where the girl runs after the guy, or the big date scene with the music playing, and this is what he has in his head. But the reality is a far different experience. I like how we're being able to see both sides in this, his fantasy in his head and the reality that actually takes place. And it really, to me, gives a message of the separation between this whole idea of fantasy and what is actually taking place.
I enjoyed the concept of this film. David, a dancer who is a great fan of Fred Astaire in this comedy fantasy drama. The pas de deux work was excellent. Beautiful dancers in this film. Two favorite moments of mine were comedic. When Gabrielle asked David at the movie if it's always older ladies in the theater. And the second one was when they're in the parking lot garage and David is backing up the stairwell and coming down and going back and forth in his indecision and nervousness to ask Gabrielle out. I thought this film had the charm and romantic quality of the films from the Astaire era.
I absolutely loved this. I loved the way that they incorporated dance into this. I thought it was really, really fun and really, really inventive to have the dance numbers that they did when they had them and where they had them. I also thought they used color really well because I feel like a lot of the times, maybe not so much in dance films, but I feel like a lot of the times we can kind of strip away a lot of like the fun, vibrant colors. And not have them featured as much, which I thought was great and adds just another pop to it. In general, I really enjoyed this. I think that when you are young and you are kind of at the beginning of making your own really big life decisions, you have to make the quote-unquote right decision, that like you don't want to make the wrong decision. And I think that in general, as a society, we frame that incorrectly, and it shouldn't be about right or wrong, because once you've made the decision and you've committed to it, if you do truly commit to it, then that's the life path that you're going down, and I don't think that that can be wrong. I think it could be, an unwise decision. You can make an unwise decision, but I don't think that you can really make a wrong decision. I think that you can make a decision that you might have to end up backtracking down the line a little bit. Like I said, it could be, an unwise decision, but I don't think there's any decision that you can make that is truly wrong, because that's where you're going, that's what you're doing, that's your own journey.
David is a very relatable character. I think when we're all in transitions of life, we do that fantasizing. We're worried about how it's going to go. And it's easier to lose yourself in the past. I did love that for a dancing film. It related to the history. He kept going back in history to looking at Fred Astaire and what worked and what didn't work and how to evolve. It's a man who very much cared about where he came from in his craft. Going back and forth with fantasy, with the what ifs, I think is only normal in a period like this where you're transitioning between points of your life, moving cities, moving on. It's something that's the most relatable thing you can, and it makes this film approachable to all audiences because it's something everybody's done, no matter what career you're in. You're always going to wonder about that what if. And saying if life was a movie, it would be easier because you'd have somebody writing what happened, and he has that force that will help him as well that repels everything he says. But he still wants her. It's a really romantic film.
Love the sort of positive energy throughout the romance and the romance for film and dance, and just the way we're taken along on this story, and get to meet these characters, and really kind of get a glimpse into that world. And there's just, yeah, it's written lovely, and there's some lovely performances. Just overall, a thoroughly delightful film.